Yo guys, Vision here bringing you more Marvel Rivals content. Today's video will be bringing you the full Daredevil guide following the latest update, breaking down all of his abilities, including his new team up and addressing both his strengths and weaknesses. This is episode 34 of my Hero Series guides with all of the previous episodes on my channel. So on that note, let's get right into it. So first things first, Daredevil in this game is a dive and brawl duelist who's capable at going toe-to-toe with almost anybody, a mobile DPS, a brand new hero to this game, and I'm super excited to grind out this character as a part of my Lord series. Now as for his stats, he has a base health of 325, making him one of the more tankier duelists in the game with a standard movement speed of 6 meters per second. As for his abilities and playstyle, Daredevil basically uses the Fury as a resource, holding up 3 charges that are gained through abilities. He can then consume this to activate his internal Fury, and his primary attack, known as the Justice Jab, is a basic double tap melee ability that grants 0.5 Fury per hit. You can also add in a quick melee attack as a little bit of a sort of a tip there to between cycles to increase your damage output as well as just building up your Fury. Now after using the Devil's Latch or Inferno Fury, this is going to allow him and enable him a 5-second window of time to use the Righteous Cross, another primary attack ability that as the next time you do attack, you will lunge forward for deal a heavy strike and gain another 0.5 Fury per hit. This is a really good follow-up ability, almost like a final executioner style ability or an entry attack, especially using in the right situations to approach certain situations, whether it's an AoE or a single target individual. Now his second attack as well, he also has the Objection, which is basically where it allows Daredevil to enter a defensive stance for up to 2 seconds, where he can deflect oncoming melee attacks and range projectiles from the front, whilst also becoming immune to damage within that stance, allowing you to effectively negate certain damage abilities to stay in the fight for longer, essentially being able to block ultimate abilities such as the likes of Iron Man and so on. Now after the ability ends, he gains another 0.5 hit Fury for every sort of deflected attack that hits that opponent. So during that 2 seconds, if you use it in a grouped up situation when there's loads of enemies around using abilities, you are going to generate a stupid amount of Fury where you can unleash a crazy amount of damage, which then leads on to how much sustain he has and bonus health he can generate. Now the Devil's Latch launches a grapple that propels the player forward upon connecting with a surface and grants 2 Fury for upon activation, then enabling the Righteous Cross, which is allowing him of course to dive forward and dash forward as the entry as we just went over. If the grapple then hits an enemy, the target will be pulled forward and the player will then dash towards to collide with them for an additional damage output. Now the Infernal Fury consumes 2 Fury to allow the player to choose between 2 different attacks, either the Devil's Chain or the Devil's Throw, enabling the Righteous Cross after using either of these 2 attacks again. So again, as to follow it up or either to use it as an executioner style ability or entry of course. The Devil's Chain is a shockwave attack that converts damage dealt into bonus health. It becomes very powerful when enemies are packed together and greatly increases that survivability if cycled between, and just understanding the Fury aspect of this character is really important and fundamental for you to stay alive, especially in quick play games. A lot of my games when I've used them so far have been in the Doom match where you're playing on your own and anytime you get a kill anyway, you will generate health, but just trying to understand how to increase his survivability is going to be vital for this character. Of course, he is very evasive and a dive heavy character, but if you cannot stay alive, you are only going to limit your damage output, so just bear that in mind. He also then has the Devil's Throw where he can hurl a projectile to ricochet off walls and between nearby enemies, inflicting slow upon any hits and granting 25 bonus health upon casting this ability. Now this attack is better if enemies are more further apart and using it from a range perspective, whereas you really do just want to use the chain for the shockwave effect and also just generating stuff at survivability. Now the Sonic Pursuit is the L1 ability on PlayStation where you can basically use to mark targeted enemies, revealing their location and granting the player an increased movement speed and damage reduction. Daredevil can then dash towards that marked enemy to briefly blind them and gain 1 Fury. If he eliminates that marked target, the cooldown of this dash will then reset and you can use it again for the next one. The marking aspect of this ability itself does not have a cooldown, but it does only mark enemies for a limited duration and has a short delay in between marking another target, so just bear that in mind. And any enemies can also be marked through walls to further amplify that tracking capability, especially for the likes of a Psylocke or whatever. His ultimate ability, Let the Devil Out, creates a visible dome around the player and continuously charges Fury whilst active. Enemies within the dome are then tethered and suffer from damage over time. Enemies within the light of the sight are blinded and have their audio dampened as well. This is a really assassin style character, a really great high burst DPS and mobile individual who is going to be a super fun DPS in this new season. He also shares the Blind Verdict team ability with the Punisher, where Daredevil then shares the location of the Sonic Pursuit target, and also at the same time the Punisher can then launch a Devil-infused shock grenade to damage enemies and also blind them. In summary, I would say he is a great combo-based duelist with great potential for mobility and incredible at both offense and defense. He can cycle between his abilities to maximize his damage output as well as his survivability, scaling walls and cling to them, as well as blinding enemies beyond a certain distance, marking them within that range, invisible to the player, but also allowing him, as they're making him an easier target to eliminate, adding to his high burst DPS and assassin playstyle, making him one of the most entertaining and just enjoyable characters all around. I cannot wait to grind the character out. I have a Lord series in the background where we're playing all of the characters in the game, and we're going to eventually get every character in the game Lord, this is quickly going to become one of those characters I'm going to prioritize and just get into playing him at the highest level in competitive as well. But there you guys have it. That's the full guide for Daredevil. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions or tips and tricks or any cool clips you got so far about this character, or if you're really excited and you want to let me know down below in the comments, please feel free to do so. I'm VisionSGen. I hope you enjoyed the video and found this useful, and I'll see you in the next one.